Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. Today, we are going to tie a fly. And this is something that I use offshore. A and B, I don't use a fly rod with this. However, the reason why I'm showing this is because the stuff that I put on and how I deal with things is something that you could use for fly fishing. But if you're not the type to fly fish, this is something that you could make on your own. And with the aid of a casting tool like this casting egg right here, okay, as you can see, there's a line tied on this because I used it. All right, so with an aid, casting aid like this, you could actually use something like this, whether you'd be offshore or inshore. They work. We're gonna start by obviously tying a thread base, and that's very important. I'm using a nylon thread here because after gluing, it kind of disappears. That's the only reason. Plus, it's cheap, rather than tying thread and stuff. So you can have a lot of it, and especially with me here in the Middle East, it's kind of difficult to get fly tying stuff. So I have acquired a habit of just looking for alternatives, and for thread, this is like the easiest and the cheapest. All right, we start by putting some flash on, and I want this to be a bit long because this is going to be a long fly. Okay. Now, another thing to consider when it comes to the tying the material is that you can afford a lot more winds. Okay, with a fly fishing, you kind of have to limit your winds a bit because there's the weight of the fly itself to consider. When you're tying in your materials, you need the least amount of wraps to make the fly as light as possible. Whereas with conventional stuff, when I tie the flies, I actually have the the thinking of indestructibility, so that's something that that's kind of different, I guess, when I'm tying. So as you could see there, normally I would just tie this going that way, but when I'm tying for like conventional, I would do that. As you could see, I folded it forward and then back, and that's never gonna go. Okay, so super glue is your best friend when it comes to these things. Also, it helps just keep everything together and not fall apart. Um, that's one of the things. Another thing to consider for me is the heavy use of synthetic material. Okay, I'm gonna back you guys up here a bit so that you can see the um, whole fly as I'm tying. Okay. Right. So synthetic materials, because synthetics don't really move a lot. Natural fibers will move a lot. Okay. But when you are using conventional gear, because of the speed that you're able to wind with your reel, it would make synthetic materials move a lot more. I'm just gonna choose the colors here that we're gonna be going with today. White is always white is always a good choice. All right, so we're going with these two colors, and then we'll have accents. This is fish hair. You can get a lot of this. Then we'll have like a red as an accent. All right, so those three colors, this is what we're gonna be using. These three. All right, I'm not good with choosing color combinations and stuff, so I'm pretty sure that there's going to be other colors that would be nice and all. But simplicity for me, it's just these three colors. I really like this green, by the way. I I don't like a lot of types of green, but this type of green right here, it's really good. Reminds me of like a needlefish. Okay, so the tail, and this whole time while we were talking, of course, the super glue was drying up, which is what we were waiting for. Alrighty, I'm gonna take some white here. Now, it's always a kind of a good idea to, when you're dealing with hair, to always have like a comb, or even better with a brush, you know. So something like this, just straighten things. Um, in my early fly tying days, I really loved um, natural material. I still do, but then the flies easily get destroyed. So, you know, I kind of liked tying a lot more before, and having a fly that broke was actually kind of nice at first, because I told myself like, yeah, man, I get to tie again, and yeah, over over the course of time, what happened was that I just kind of, I guess, kind of didn't like spending too much time on the vice. So here we are. I guess that's a kind of a natural progression, right? Okay, so you have this, okay? And what's gonna happen is we're gonna go back here, okay? Move back to the tip of the, it depends on the hook, but you know. Now, we're gonna tie on the far side here, and we're gonna tie a tail. So notice that we have the flash there, and what you want is to have the flash just sticking out a little bit, okay? Righty, just like that. Okay, I hope you see that. Okay, so you have the flash just, okay, let me do it this way so you guys can see the flash just sticking out just a tad bit. Okay, ooh, glue still wet. Okay, so now we tie that, and I'm gonna tie going to the hook eye. Okay, so a few wraps, and then I'm gonna take this end. Let's see here. So I'm gonna keep on tying going forward. Okay, this is gonna help the overall durability of the fly. Okay, so what I'm also doing is making sure that this, when I fold it like that, it will be equal to the back right there. Okay, so kind of missed it by a little bit, but that's fine. All we have to do is just take our scissors and then just go like that. Okay. A little bit more. Doesn't have to be all of it, but there we go. That should be it. Right? So you're tapering that, and then what you're basically doing is putting the flash inside the hair. It'll make it come alive. Okay, there you go. Then just wrap that and wrap that in real good. Again, you can afford to really go to town with this, at least for conventional use. Basically, what you're doing here, okay, guys, just so we're clear, it's kind of like making a bucktail, a fancy ass bucktail. That's all this is, at least how I see it. So a lot of purists would actually kind of don't like this because, you know, fly rod forever. For me, when I saw the flies, I was like, wow, that's like a creative way of making bucktails and stuff, you know? So that's how I got into this. Alrighty, so thin super glue is really good for this sort of thing. Okay, now from there, what we need to do is actually tie a shorter rump. That's what it is. Because if you don't put a rump, what happens is that the next step would be just kind of like a head, and then doesn't make it look streamlined. Okay, so we're gonna take another clump of hair. Okay, roughly about the same volume. That way you get a very good a lot of people struggle, by the way, when it comes to that. So you know, the proportioning of the volume, it kind of doesn't matter when you're fishing this on a conventional rod and reel, but if you're using a fly rod, kind of critical. All right, so you can see that I actually cut the material shorter, and then I'm gonna be pulling the fiber so that it kind of makes a taper on one end and the same thing on the other. It kind of just makes it more natural looking. Okay, so we're gonna put it there. We go back to the tip, aligned with the tip right there. Okay, your thread. Now you don't need the taper, but it just kind of looks nice. Okay, so what I will do is I will put this lower, as you can see there. Okay, I'm gonna put that lower on the hook. Just like that. And another thing that I'm doing is actually tying. Okay, every time I tie, I start from this end, okay, this end, and then going towards the eye. So there, as you can see, it kind of does that. Okay. Bring it back. Okay. Kind of screwed up there, but that's fine. So what I want is to pull this a bit more. Okay, so that when I bring this back, it's gonna align itself like that. Okay, now also helps if we spread this around. So go like that. So half going around the hook, and we're gonna spread it, so you can see here, because what we want is for this to actually go around and kind of make a surrounding taper. This fly is going to be three-dimensional, by the way. That's the aim. Okay. So we want it to be a bit three-dimensional. There we go. So once you're happy, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, I know that there are some people there that are just so pedantic when it comes to these things. So you fold it back, distribute it, you know, you can distribute it manually. Basically, you just want a taper. Okay. And you can go ape nuts with this or not. Depends on you. Yeah. But yeah, as you can see there, just with that, okay, the shape is now kind of like a teardrop. And that's basically what you want. Okay. And then just trap that with a wrap. Okay. Before you kind of set things. Alrighty. Once you put your wraps on, that's it. It's gonna retain that. So usually what I do is just flip things around, and this is where rotary vise helps. Okay. And this is the easy part. We're gonna be doing some dubbing, and that's the part I struggled with in the past. Okay, so you tie that back like that, just like that. And then what you have there is it's a tail that basically is tapered. Now, what the taper does is the swim, you know. So when you're pulling this actually kind of moves. All right. Now I go forward, okay, and do like 2 half hitches there just to keep things aligned, right? So that's it. Now, super glue, your best friend, so that this thing doesn't come apart. It's just a drop, and you could just put like on one side, and what happens is it seeps through the wraps, and it kind of goes around. Okay, now if it helps you sleep better at night, you can flip it around and also put it on the other side. Okay, so there we go. Now for this, it's kind of painful to kind of wait for things to dry up. All right, now while that's happening, I'm gonna take a small amount of red, okay, just as an accent, like that. So consider the length of your material, whitey. So for me, I'm just gonna take a small sliver of this, and I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna make a throat, and it'll simulate Gale's whatever. blood, throat. But what this is actually just kind of like a hot spot. Okay, now this is UV reactive. See, that thing just glows. So, when you're fishing it, the fish have like a place to home into. Alrighty, now I'm just with that. Okay, I'm gonna put it here like that. Actually, you know what? Let me reverse this. I'm gonna tie it in reverse like that. Placement too close. So we're gonna reverse and then just place it right there, a bit farther, and then flip it around like that, and it stays there just like that for the time being. And this doesn't need to be like straight or what, you know, that's just going to be chill in there. All right, now we go back. Now, a lot of people deal with this in different ways, but I have braid and I'm gonna take a section of it. Okay, I'm gonna cut. This is a new pair of scissors and I don't want to cut my braid using that. All right, so now with this one, okay, as you can see, it's like a good length here. I'm gonna take this. All right, I'm gonna tie it up here, make a loop, okay, and then we're tying it. Okay, and I'm gonna take this back right here. Okay, so I'm just tying like that so you guys can see. Now I will take this back like that. Okay, I am using my what's this thread rest here. Okay, put a few wraps on this just to secure it. Okay, like so, then go back again. This is so that it's tougher and it won't I am just making sure that this thing is not going anywhere. Okay, so that's basically it. I want this to be as secured as possible. There we go. I have tied. I have tied where, you know, when I was pulling this, it came off. Not nice. So I'm securing this and hold on. There we go. All right. Now, I put it just over at the end there. Okay, we could see right there. Because if I started somewhere here, it's not gonna transition well. So I usually do that as close as possible. Now, for spinning this, I have a dubbing spinner here that I have made, and I'm just gonna let that chill there. Okay, I'm gonna take some hair. All right, I'm gonna use the green stuff. I'm gonna take a bit like that. Too much, because you're gonna cut it, so you don't want it to be like too overboard. Okay, look at that. Look at that color. You know, that looks super freaking good, man. I'm gonna clean this up a bit. All right. Half. So basically what I want is like do this third of the length like that. Okay. So cut it 1/3 its length. There we go. So that it's easier to trap the fibers that way. Okay. So probably a bit too much there. There we go. So just a few spins. All right. Now, you can put super glue on this to make it tougher. Also to help keep things in place. There we go. Have super glue on my legs. All right. So once you separate that, the super glue will actually kind of just be droplets and stuff. All right. So close. No clean way of doing this. All right. So start spreading stuff. There we go. And then I'll spin this. Try to get the fibers straight here. Okay. Spin it, and I'm spinning this like heavy, and then bang, just pull. All right. So the fibers are going to stick onto the braid, and that's fine. What you want is to really spin it so that the wraps are going to be tight. Okay, now it's useful to have a brush, and there's going to be a lot of the fibers that will come off. Just keep on spinning it, and then how you transmit it is to actually pull on your dubbing spinner. Okay, so what I want is for the wraps to trap the fibers, and you can get them off the tangle by getting a brush and just brushing them up like that. Some fibers will get off, and there we go. Okay, That is it. Another thing that I do is actually have a thread that's contrasting, you know. So, okay, so what I'll do is I'll wrap until I get to that base right there. Okay, see that? Right there, so that the transition wouldn't be weird. And then what I'll do is I'll fold everything back. Okay, and then I will wrap and I will pull the fibers back. Now, what you could do is wrap forward and fold everything. See? Now it's not like this. Okay? It will actually go one side only. Wrap forward in a spiral. And then wrap preen all the fibers back while you're wrapping forward. Just like that. Okay, again. Okay, just wrap it back. Okay, until you reach the very end. And what you want really is to just able to wrap everything back like that. There we go. Okay. Then I'm actually going to trap this and then trap the loop, the dubbing loop. Okay, I'm gonna cut this. So you have a nice you have a nice taper on the body there. You brush it so that there's the trapped fibers are released, just like that. Preen it back and you will find that you have a very nice taper right there. See? Now take this fold, put it back there. Acts like a throat right there. Just like that. See? Now you have kind of like a see? You can see that. Now what we could do is just put more material here like the, the green stuff, to make the head, and we can put an eye. But see, this will get covered, this, and it'll look like it's the inside. Okay, so take a bit of this green stuff, the same color as your body. And what you want is shorter lengths, okay? So that goes around. So okay, we're gonna put that much, put it to the side here. Like that. Take another, okay, I'm gonna actually taper it a bit and then put it on top here. We're gonna go all the way around like that. Last one. Just over there. Okay. And then just bring this back. That is one ugly fly. Not gonna happen, buddy. Alrighty, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Class dismissed.